started, but నాటక స్టార్ట్ అని చూపిస్తుంది. Hello my dear friends, well I'm here with you to discuss an interesting revision on this beautiful topic called value of supply, something very interesting and which makes a lot of sense, and one such topic which is really important to understand in the practical world. At the same time, this is a topic which generally keeps coming in the exam for CA Inter for almost about 4 marks. So let me spend some good time with you on revising everything once about value of supply and getting a fair idea on what is this value of supply talking about. Clear? Good. So first of all, hi, hello everyone. I'm sure the sound is very much audible to everyone. Good, brilliant. Good to see all of you guys. I'm sure you guys are staying safe at home. Please do take care. Absolutely stay safe, my dear friends. So when I talk about this value of supply at the CA Inter level, it's important to have clarity on this for 2 reasons, my dear friends. I'll tell you what are the 2 reasons why it is very important. The reason number 1 being very clear that it's important to know value of supply because obviously quite obvious that 4 to 6 marks will definitely come in the exam. So for that reason, obviously it is very important to have a clarity on value of supply. And reason number 2 being very clear that value of supply is one topic where practically there is a lot of relevance and importance where you really have to understand how do we determine value of supply. Why? Now why it is important to know how to determine value of supply? See, I'll give a small situation and small example so that you get a clarity of thought here. See, for example guys, sometimes when we go to some supermarkets or maybe to some shops, maybe let's say we went to one cloth store to buy one shirt. When we purchase one shirt, let's say the man told the shirt price is about 1000 rupees. Apart from the 1000 rupees for the shirt price, there is also a possibility where at the billing counter that man will ask you, sir, do you want a cover? Sir, do you want a cover? Obviously we will start telling, yes sir, of course we want a cover. But that man will tell, sir, if you want a cover, you have to pay extra 10 rupees or extra 20 rupees or 5 rupees, whatever it is, extra for that cover. Now the question is, let's say the shirt is 1000 rupees and extra for that cover they asked for about 10 rupees. Now question is about, will GST apply on 1000 rupees or will GST apply on 1010 rupees? That's an interesting point. So we need to have a clarity on what are all included in the value of supply, and we also are required to have a clarity on what are all not included in the value of supply. So it is very vital and very important to know what are included in the value of supply and also important to know what are not included in the value of supply. So I will spend some good time with you in explaining you very clearly as to what all will include in the value of supply, and also I will explain you very clearly what all will exclude from value of supply. Of course, at CA Inter level, in your syllabus, you don't have valuation rules. Unlike at CA final level, there is also valuation rules which talks about specific cases of valuation. That is all there at CA final level. But at the level of CA Inter, what you have is only section 15, which talks about the concept of value of supply. So if you have a clarity of thought on value of supply section 15, that is enough for you to score that 4 to 5 marks, definitely sure shot in the exam. So I want to spend some good time with you guys. Just give your 30-40 minutes to me. I'll make sure that you will get complete clarity on value of supply and you will revise everything in value of supply and you get up for getting that 4 to 6 marks in the exam. Definitely sure shot. First, come on. So friends, when I talk about this value of supply, when I discuss about value of supply, the first thing you should know is that the concept of value of supply is given by section 15 of CGST Act. Section 15 of which Act? CGST Act deals with the concept of value of supply, which specifies very clearly that section 15 is actually divided into section 15 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I repeat one more time, 15 is divided into 15 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And at CA Inter level, more relevant is 15 1, 2, 3. 4, 5 doesn't make much sense for us. Why? That also I'll tell you. Don't worry. So one after other section we'll discuss 15, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and in every subsection In every subsection, there are also some clauses. For example, in 15.2, we have got 15.2a, b, c, d, e, and 15.3 again we have 15.3a also, 15.3b also. All that we'll discuss in detail. And wherever you have a doubt, kindly feel free to post your doubt. You message in the chat room with whatever is your doubt. I'll definitely clarify your doubt. Don't hesitate. Let's spend some time and make sure that we are perfect in value of supply. Come on. The first thing, guys. The first thing. Before I start directly, already first one question came. So provisions, do we require written practice or what is that question? So provisions, written practice is required, or if we just learn, is it enough? So my suggestion is always, you always need to make sure that you write and practice, because it's always important that many a times what happens is that even though we read couple of times, 2 times, 3 times, sometimes still we end up having some more doubts. So always it's recommended to have a summary notes of that. That's the reason why we create so many short videos, and at Indigo Learn we ensure that you have a complete revision of everything. That's the reason why I want to always do. But for your preparation, you make your summary, you sit and prepare your summary notes. It will be very useful. So that's for sure. And anyways, all set and done. The exams were supposed to happen in May. Already we are standing in the month of May. That got postponed to June, and again June got postponed to July. So you guys have got some good time with you now. So when you got some good time, makes much more revision, guys. I keep saying always, I was actually telling to one of my students that, sir, more time has come, what has to be done? What has to be done means, more time has come. If you have not studied something, study now. And by any chance already you studied something, revise 2-3 times. If you aimed for passing, now you aim for rank. That's all, guys. When more time has come, that more time should be utilized in the most effective manner. That's really important. Anyways, all these things about what to do, how to plan and all, we'll talk at the end of the session. But first, let's spend time on value of supply. Come on, let me start. So friends, as I told you already, 15 is divided into 15, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 15.1 says, I repeat one more time, 15.1 says, value of supply shall always mean transaction value. Come on, what is the language by difference? 15.1 says, value of supply shall always mean what value? Transaction value. And transaction value means price paid or payable, price paid or payable when supplier and recipient are not related and the price is sole consideration. Come on, what is the language? Let me repeat one more time. 15.1 says, value of supply shall always mean transaction value. Transaction value. And what is transaction value? Transaction value is nothing but the price paid or payable. Price paid or payable when supplier and recipient are not related. Price paid or payable when supplier and recipient are not related and the price is sole consideration. Now let me tell you, my dear friends, let me repeat this point once again. So if you recollect, my dear friends, in the concept of supply, section 7, we discussed something called related persons. Now why that word related person came in section 7 also, I'll tell you. In section 7, subsection 1, clause C, that is 7.1c, read with schedule 1, there is one point which says supplies between distinct or related persons, supplies between distinct or related persons in the course or furtherance of business is regarded as supply even though there is no consideration. That part already everybody knows. In that context, already I taught you before also who are covered in related persons. That's very clearly who are covered in related persons: employer and employee, legally recognized partner, I am controlling you, you are controlling me, or we both are controlled by third person, we both are controlled by third person, or we both are together controlling a third person, or we both are something like a case where employer and employee. So all these cases are regarded as related persons, or they are members of the same family. And in fact, my dear friends, this word family is also defined in law. One section called section 249 defines what is family, which clearly says family means, they did not say family includes. If they say includes, gone. In India, people will tell family is big, all Indians are brothers and sisters. No, you can't tell like that. They define what is family here. Here, family means number 1, spouse and children. Come on, family covers what first one? Spouse and children. Number 2, parents, grandparents, brothers and sisters if they are dependent, wholly or mainly. That means number 1, spouse and children. Spouse and children are always related persons. Spouse and children are always related persons. Second is what? Parents, grandparents, brothers and sisters. In this context, what I want to tell you is that parents, grandparents, brothers and sisters are related persons only if they are dependent. That too, how dependent? Wholly or mainly. Wholly or mainly. So what is family? Number one, spouse and children. Number two, parents, grandparents, brothers and sisters if they are dependent, wholly or mainly. Such a fantastic concept, guys. Makes a lot of sense actually. Now, in this context, let me tell you, I just told you who are covered in related persons. Now, what is 15.1 telling? 15.1 says value of supply should always mean what value? Transaction value. And what is transaction value? Transaction value is nothing but price paid or payable when supplier and recipient are not related. That means law is telling when they both are not related only that value will be considered. That's very logical also. The reason is very simple because if the two persons are related persons, the price will not be normal price. That price is definitely an affected price. We always say a price is normal price only when those two are not related persons. Because if they are related persons, that price is always affected price. So friends, come on. Now what I want to tell you now, 15.1 says value of supply shall always mean what value? Transaction value. And what is transaction value? Transaction value means price paid or payable when supplier and recipient are not related and the price is sole consideration. Come on friends, price is what consideration? Sole consideration. Please get a clarity of thought. They use the word called price is sole consideration. That word is actually very interesting where they use the word price is sole consideration, which actually makes a lot of sense. Now friends, when I say price is sole consideration, now what does that mean? Let's take a situation something like this here. Now let's say I stay in one area, one particular colony, one particular area I stay. Now let's say in our area there is an MLA or a minister. Now let's say one fine day one MLA called me and told, Mr. Shiva Teja, I want to meet you. I told, yes sir, I'm ready to come. I went and met him. That man told that Shiva Teja, I've got different kinds of income like house property income, salary income, capital gains income, different types of incomes are there. I want you to file my income tax return. I told, yes sir, definitely I'll file your income tax return. I prepared all the trial balance, P&L, balance sheet, everything I only prepared, and I also filed the income tax return. Generally for that work, I charge a fees of about 20,000 rupees. Example, generally for that work I charge a fees of 20,000 rupees. But since the person for whom I have done the work is MLA, so I told him, sir, please pay only 5,000. That man told, what, Shiva Teja, only 5,000? I told, sir, generally I charge 20,000, but for you it's only 5,000 because you are our MLA. I have great amount of love and affection and respect towards you. I charge like that. Now tell me guys, in that particular case, is Shiva Teja and MLA related persons? Answer is definitely no. Shiva Teja and MLA are no way related persons. But can you please tell me, is the price sole consideration? 100% again answer is no. Because I clearly told you that transaction value is only in a case where transaction value is acceptable only in a case where supplier and recipient are not related and the price is sole consideration. That means the concept is very clear that transaction is very clear that supplier and recipient should not be related and the price is sole consideration. Getting clarity friends? Did you all understand this point everybody? Yeah, can I move forward please? Good, fantastic. Let me proceed. So friends, now 15.1 clearly says value of supply shall always mean transaction value. It refers to what? Price paid or payable when supplier and recipient are not related and the price is sole consideration. Now an interesting point what they told is 15 subsection 4. Which section? 15 subsection 4. This section says if transaction value is not acceptable, if transaction value is what? Not acceptable, then it says go to rules. If transaction value is not acceptable, it says go to rules. So 15.4 simply says one line called if transaction value is not acceptable, go to rules. Simple. And one point let me tell you clearly that at CA inter level, your syllabus, you don't have the concept of rules in your syllabus. That rules is there only at CA final level. Clear? One student is asking a question, sir, whether politician is related person or not. Let me tell you, my dear friend, that generally politician person could be somebody who is to to whom we would have voted or elected, whatever situation it is. But under GST law, related persons is defined in the GST law, where they clearly told that related persons covers only employer and employee, legally recognized partner, officers, directors of one another's business. You are controlling me, I am controlling you, or we both are controlled by third person, or we both are together controlling third person, or they are members of same family. They are only covered in definition of related persons. So we and MLA cannot be regarded as related persons as per provisions of GST law. I hope you got it. So that's why I was trying to tell you that value of supply 15(1) clearly says value of supply should always mean transaction value, which refers to price paid or payable when supplier and recipient are not related and the price is sole consideration. When I say sole consideration, what is the meaning of that? The price is the only consideration. Now 15(4) says if the transaction value is not acceptable, then go to rules. Come on, what does 15(4) say? 15(4) clearly says if the transaction value is not acceptable, then go to rules. Now common sense point, when this transaction value is not acceptable, transaction value is obviously not acceptable in case where supplier and recipient are related persons, or in case where price is not the sole consideration. In that case, transaction value is not acceptable. If it's not acceptable, we'll go to rules. And the rules concept is there at CA final level, where we have got different rules from rule 27 to rule 35. We have got some set of rules which are relevant for CA final level. So I will not focus on that now. Let's stick to our topic. One doubt from our student. He is asking a question. Sir, what if MLA is your dependent brother? If MLA is a dependent brother, then MLA would be that dependent brother would fit in the definition of family. When he is fitting in the definition of family, automatically what will happen? He will become a related person. No doubt about it. So logic is very simple. If you are fitting in the definition of family, you will become a related person. And if you are a related person, then what will happen then? Transaction value is not acceptable. And if transaction value is not acceptable, what will you do? Go to rules. That's it. So friends, 15(1) says what? 15(1) says value of supply shall always mean transaction value. It refers to price paid or payable when supplier and recipient are not related and the price is sole consideration. Price is what consideration? Sole consideration. So 15(1) says value of supply shall always mean transaction value. And transaction value means what? Price paid or payable when supplier and recipient are not related and the price is sole consideration. And 15(4) says if transaction value is not acceptable, straight away go to rules. And the rules are not there in syllabus. Then 15(5) says in case of certain notified supplies, we'll always go to rules. In other words, 15(5) says in case of notified supplies, valuation is specifically given under rules. And in fact, in rules, there is something called Rule 32. There is something called Rule 32 which talks about air travel agent, money changing activity, life insurance, second-hand goods, vouchers. All that specific valuation rules is there for some specific types of business. And that is also there for you at CA final level. So rules is not relevant for CA Inter. So I will not cover rules in this particular session. Maybe separately when I cover one topic or session for CA final students, at that time I will talk about rules. But now the focus is all about section 15. So let's complete section 15. That is relevant for CA Inter or CA IPCC students. Whether old syllabus or new syllabus, whatever it is, in your syllabus, only section 15 is there. Rules is not there for CA students. Clear? But when I separately discuss for CA finance students or separately for CMA students, that time maybe separately we will talk about rules. But now let's stick to section 15 of the CGST Act. Done. So friends, 15(1) says what? 15(1) says value of supply shall always mean transaction value, which refers to price paid or payable when supplier and recipient are not related and the price is sole consideration. And 15(4) says if the transaction value is not acceptable, go to rules. 15(5) says in case of certain notified supplies, we will always go to rules. We have a doubt from one of our friend. One of our friend has a question. Sir, related persons also include directors also. Let me tell you, my dear friends, there is a concept which says officers or directors of one another's business. That means in your company, if I am director, and in my company, if you are director, then our two companies are called as related persons. I hope you got the point. If you are director in my company and I am director in your company, then these two companies are called as related persons, because they use one language called they are officers or directors of one another's business. They are officers or directors of one another's business. So I am officer in your business, you are officer in my business. Then we both are related persons. You are director in my company, I am director in your company. Then again we both are related persons. Ja, let me proceed. So friends, so like this, there are some good points which is given in related person definition. And in related person definition, they also cover something called where there is a holding of more than 25% of voting shares or stocks of both of them. When I say both of them, what does that mean? What does that mean? Let's say there is one company called A Limited. That means there is a company called A Limited. A Limited is holding shares in B Limited. A Limited is holding shares in C Limited also. That means in two companies called B Limited, C Limited, in these two companies, A is holding shares. There is a company called A Limited which is holding shares in B Limited and C Limited, and let's say B Limited is holding 30%, C Limited also is holding 30%. Then we say that they are regarded as related persons because they are holding more than 25% of the voting stock or shares of both of them. Then we call them as related persons. One question from our friend. Sir, do the directors and company related persons? See, we don't say director and company is related person. The only point given in the law is if they are directors or officers of one another's business. So if I am director in your company, you are director in my company. That case only we call it as related persons. But one possibility is there in case of director. That is, they use the word called employer and employer related person. Employer and employer related person. Generally, in case of directors, MD is only an employee, but not every director is employee, right? That is the reason why employer-employee relationship in section 7(2)(a) read with schedule 3, there is a word called service given by employee to employer in the course of employment is neither regarded as supply of goods nor regarded as supply of service, and we don't pay GST at all. In that context, you should also know very clearly one point that in section 9(3), that is RCM, which says that service given by director to company is covered under RCM. That is a point. So in case of directors, every director is not an employee. Next, one of our friend is asking question. So in family definition, it says wife is always related person, whether or not she is dependent. For example, if wife is divorced or vice versa, will she still be related? My dear friend, let me tell you one point. I do accept that in family definition they told family means number one, spouse and children, number two, parents, grandparents, brothers, sisters, if they are dependent, wholly or mainly. But one point you need to understand that first point they told family means spouse and children. If they took divorce, she is no more a spouse, she is ex, not wife. Come on, yeah. So once they take divorce, she is no more a spouse. So just because they told they are always related, even after divorce you should not tell they are related. That's logically not correct. And one more question from our friend. He is asking, sir, what is the treatment for discount? I'll talk, don't worry. We'll talk about the treatment for discounts and all. We'll talk about that in detail. Don't worry. Clear? I'm sure this point makes sense for everybody. Good, fantastic. So friends, in this context, I've got a couple of more interesting points also to discuss. Let me discuss that. So I'm just done with you guys to discuss about 15.1, and we have done discussion about 15.4, and we have also done 15.5. Clear? Now what does 15.1 talk about? 15.1 says value of supply should always mean transaction value. It refers to price paid or payable when supplier and recipient are not related and the price is sole consideration. Correct? And what is 15.4? 15.4 says if the transaction value is not acceptable, then go to rules. And 15.5 says in case of notified suppliers also will go to rules. So 15.4, 15.5 as such is not relevant for CA internal level or CA IPCC level. So let me now spend some good time on discussion about 15.2 and 15.3. That is what is most important, where clarity of thought is required. Listen, friends, now 15.2 talks about inclusions to transaction value. Come on, what does 15.2 talk about? 15.2 talk about inclusions to transaction value. And 15.3 talks about exclusions from transaction value. Friends, in exclusions we have got only 2 points to talk, but in inclusions we have got some about 5 points to discuss. That is something which will take time. 15.3 will not take much time, but 15.2 will take some time because we have got some 5 points to discuss and some points are extremely interesting. Now what is that? We'll spend some time. Come on. Friends, 15.2 talks about inclusions to transaction value, and in inclusions, let me tell you, we have got totally about 5 points we need to talk. 15.2 is divided into 15.2 clause A, clause B, clause C, clause D, clause E. So we have got some 5 interesting points to discuss in 15.2, which talks about inclusions to transaction value. Clear, my dear friends? So let's spend some good time and become perfect in 15.2 inclusions. Now what is that? First one, friends, 15.2a talks about all taxes, duties, cess, fees, etc. except GST charged by supplier from recipient shall be included in the transaction value. Now what does that mean? I'll give an example, guys. Listen, let's say I'm owner of a property. I'm what? Owner of a property, and you are a tenant. I gave a property on rent to you. Now let's say when I gave a property on rent to you, now what will happen? When I gave you a property on rent, I will take from you rent every month. Now tell me, generally for the property, we need to pay municipal tax. Yes or no? Yes. And municipal tax is supposed to be paid always by the owner. It is not the responsibility of the tenant to pay municipal tax, but it is always the responsibility of the owner to pay municipal tax. In this context, I want to tell you one point. Now what is the point I want to tell you in this context? Now my dear friends, when I am the owner and you are the tenant, right? Perfect. I am the owner, you are the tenant. I will collect from you what? Rent. Now apart from rent, let's say rent is some 10 lakh rupees, but apart from rent, let's say I also collected extra 1 lakh. Telling boss, I should pay 1 lakh municipal tax to the government, but I want you only to pay that 1 lakh to me. And as owner, I collected 1 lakh from you. So how much I collected totally? 10 lakh plus 1 lakh totally I collected 11 lakhs from you. Now question is about, will GST come on 10 lakhs or GST will come on 11 lakhs? GST will definitely come on 11 lakhs but not on 10 lakhs. Because 15.2a clearly says all taxes, duties, cess, fees charged by supplier shall be included in the value of supply. Now in this context, one point I want to tell you, my friends, one important amendment which came up, which a student should know very clearly. Now what is that amendment? You should have a clarity upon. Let me tell you very clearly. Listen friends, listen carefully, you will get a complete clarity of thought. Listen. Now what is the interesting amendment I want to discuss with you is something like this. Sir, generally under income tax law, there is one concept called TCS. TCS stands for tax collected at source. I'll give an example. Generally, whenever a person, if he sells a motor car, for example, a car dealer, when he is selling a car and the car value is more than 10 lakh rupees, car value is more than 10 lakh rupees, they generally collect 1% as TCS, which stands for tax collected at source. Now, take a situation where I go to a shop and buy one car, let's say one BMW car I purchased, and the car value is 30 lakh rupees. When the car value is 30 lakhs, what is that point very clear? When the car value is 30 lakhs, that means the car value is more than 10 lakh rupees. Will income tax TCS apply? 100% answer is yes. So when I say income tax TCS will apply, so what will that person collect from me? That person will collect from me 30 lakhs, 30,000. He will collect from me 30 lakhs, 30,000. Now when he is collecting from me 30 lakhs, 30,000, GST will come on what value? Will GST come on 30 lakhs or will GST come on 30 lakhs, 30,000? In this context, they clarified very clearly that GST will come on 30 lakhs only, but not on 30 lakhs, 30,000. That is because TCS is not included in the value of supply. And there is one reason also why. Because they clarified that TCS is only an interim levy. TCS is only an interim levy which is not having the characteristics of tax. When it's an interim levy not having characteristics of tax, there is no point of including that TCS in the transaction value. So they told very clearly that TCS will not be included in the transaction value. Clear, my friends? Just 1 second, guys. Sorry, let me get back. So friends, I was discussing with you one point that TCS is not included in the transaction value for a simple reason that TCS is only an interim levy which is not having the characteristics of tax. I'm sure that makes sense for everybody. Fantastic. Come on. So friends, what is 15.1 now? 15.1 says value of supply shall always be transaction value. Transaction value means what? Price paid or payable. Price paid or payable when supplier and recipient are not related and the price is sole consideration. And 15.2 talks about inclusions to transaction value. And 15.3 talks about exclusions from transaction value. 15.4 says if transaction value is not acceptable, then go to rules. 15.5 says for notified suppliers, we'll always go to rules. And the rules is not relevant for CA intern. Sure. 15.2 inclusions. How many points we have totally? 5 points. In that first point is done. What is the first point? All taxes, duties, cess, fee charged by supplier from recipient. But one point, keep in mind that TCS is not included in the value of supply. Why? TCS is only an interim levy which is not having the characteristic of tax. I hope you got it. Can I proceed further? Good. One student is asking one doubt, sir, why TCS is not included in the value of supply? I just clarified that point, why it is not included in the value of supply. So that's done. Moving forward, come on. 15.2.8 talks about. 15.2.8 talks about one interesting point which says that all taxes, duties, cess, fee charged by supplier from recipient. Now 15.2b says supplier's obligation. 15.2b says supplier's obligation in relation to supply met by recipient. 15.2b says what, my dear friends? Supplier's obligation in relation to supply met by recipient. See, for example, let's say, I'll give a small situation here. Let's say for a second, I'm a jewelry dealer. I'm what dealer? Jewelry dealer. Let's say I've got one jewelry shop. You came to my shop and told, sir, I want to buy one necklace. I told, okay, sir, diamond necklace, the price is 3 lakh rupees along with testing charges. Price is 3 lakh rupees along with testing charges. Generally, testing cost will be about some 30,000 rupees, but I told you that the cost is totally 3 lakh rupees, including testing charges of 30,000. Total price is 3 lakhs. Now, the problem here is, I am a supplier. I actually get testing done from some other third party. That means, when you give me 3 lakh rupees, I will not keep 3 lakhs in my pocket. I will only keep 2,70,000 in my pocket, and 30,000 I will pay to that testing person. Now what I thought is, why should I do time pass of taking 3 lakhs from you, giving 30,000 to that third person? Why should I waste my time and effort and energy on this? So I thought, let me do something different. So what I have done is, I told you, my dear friend, do one thing. Anyways, you have to pay me 3 lakhs, right? You pay me only 2,70,000. You pay me only 2,70,000. 30,000 what you have to pay me, you pay directly to the testing fellow. Now one point I'll ask you, my dear friend, let me ask you that question. This 30,000, whatever is supposed to be paid as testing charges, is whose obligation? It is my obligation to pay that 30,000 rupees to that testing person. But who actually paid? You actually paid. When you actually paid, it is included in the value of supply. That means even though I have taken from you only 2,70,000, value of supply will not be 2,70,000, value of supply will still be 3 lakh rupees. Because for that 2,70,000, we will add 30,000. Supplier's obligation. Come on, what's 15.2b? Supplier's obligation in relation to the supply is met by recipient. Now practically, how do we prove that my obligation you have met? How do we prove practically is that when the third person testing fellow, that testing person will give a bill on my name. That testing person gave a bill on my name, but you are making payment to him. That is why we tell that it is my obligation met by you. But if the testing person is giving bill on your name only, then you cannot prove that it is my obligation met by you. How do you prove that it is my obligation? We always say it is my obligation because the testing person gave a bill on my name. That is what you need to understand here. Getting clarity, my dear friends? Everybody come on, please speak out. Fantastic. There is a doubt from, one question from our friend. Let me see that. Student is asking, sir, you told about TCS, what about TDS? Friend, let me tell you, my dear friend, that TCS is something which is extra charged. That when you talk about that motor car, apart from the 30 lakhs, they will also collect extra 30,000. So that is actually charged extra. But TDS is not charged extra, right? TDS is only deduction. It's a tax deducted at source. For example, if I give a service to my client for 1 lakh rupees, if I give a bill of 1 lakh to my client, he will not pay me 1 lakh. He will pay me only 90,000. Because under income tax 194J, he will do TDS at the rate of 10%. 194J 10% TDS he will do, he will pay me 90,000. But when I give a bill to him, I will give a bill for 1 lakh only. I will give a bill for 1 lakh only. And 1 lakh only I will charge GST. So it indirectly means TDS is always included. Why it is not included? It's not extra corrected, right? It is only deducted from that because of income tax TDS provisions. Good. So friends, 15.2b, I was telling you very clearly that 15.2b clearly says supplier's obligation met by recipient. Now, how do you prove practically that it is supplier's obligation met by recipient? As I gave an example very clearly, my dear friends, when I am the jewelry shop person, and I have to pay to the testing person, that testing person I have to pay what charges? Testing charges. How much I have to pay? 30,000 rupees. Now tell me very clearly that testing person, is he giving bill on your name or is he giving bill on my name? He is giving bill on my name. And for you, I am supplier. See, between we both, I am supplier, you are recipient. That person gave a bill on my name of 30,000 rupees. That means I should pay 30,000 to testing person. But who paid 30,000 to testing person? You paid 30,000 to testing person. So it is something like supplier's obligation in relation to the supply is met by a recipient. That is the point about 15.2b. Clear? One of our friend Rajkumar asked this question. I am sure Rajkumar you are clear, my dear friend. Good. So 15.2a talks about all taxes, duties, cess, fee charged by supplier from recipient. And 15.2b talks about supplier's obligation in relation to supply met by recipient. Good. Let's see any question there. One question from our friend Sutapa Das. Sir, why didn't include TDS? TDS is already included. That's what I told. I gave an example also that when I give a bill to my client for 1 lakh rupees, I will charge on 1 lakh only GST. When a client is paying to me from 1 lakh, he will reduce 10% as TDS under 194J and give me only 90,000. That means GST is being charged on 90,000 or 1 lakh. I already charge GST on 1 lakh only, not on 90,000. So TDS is already included. See, TDS is not something collected extra, right? TDS is only something from value we are deducting because of income tax TDS provision. I hope your answer is clarified, Sutapa Das, my dear friend. Good, let me proceed now. 15.2a talks about what? 15.2a talks about all taxes, duties, cess, fees charged by supplier from recipient. And 15.2b talks about supplier's obligation in relation to supply met by recipient. Now, 15.2c talks about all incidental charges or anything charged by supplier from recipient. General point is transport charges, freight charges, packing charges, all these things, whatever supplier collect from recipient, that is always included. Common sense point. Generally, the packing charges, transport charges, freight charges, all that we will always add. Very simple. Clear? So 15.2a is what? 15.2a talks about all taxes, duties, cess, fees charged by supplier from recipient. 15.2b, supplier's obligation in relation to supply met by recipient. 15.2c, any incidental expenses or anything charged by supplier from recipient. Moving forward. 15.2d talks about any interest, late fees or any penalties charged by supplier from recipient. Friends, you need to understand that we are not talking about interest, late fees, GST payable to the government. We are talking about interest, late fees, penalties charged by supplier from recipient. Now what does this mean? Interest, late fees, penalties charged by supplier from recipient. Now let me tell you this point. Listen, sir, let's say I am a chartered accountant. Apart from your classes, I am also a practicing chartered accountant. I have got an office. I provide service to my clients. Now let's say when I am giving some particular service to my client, from two client I gave a bill of 1 lakh rupees. Come on, for what value I gave a bill? I gave a bill for 1 lakh rupees. And I told my client very clearly, my dear client, this 1 lakh you have to pay within 30 days. If you don't pay this 1 lakh to me within 30 days, I will collect extra 10,000 from you. Come on, what I told my clients? You have to pay this 1 lakh to me within 30 days. If you don't pay this 1 lakh to me within 30 days, I will collect extra 10,000 from you. Now what my customer has done is, or what my client has done is, he did not pay that 1 lakh to me within 30 days. Now I collected from him 1 lakh 10,000. Now tell me, that extra 10,000 what I collected from him, what is that extra 10,000? That extra 10,000 is something like interest, late fees, penalties which is charged by supplier from recipient. Now question is, will GST come on 1 lakh or will GST come on 1 lakh 10,000? GST will definitely come on 1 lakh 10,000. But you need to understand one important point here, that 15.2d says any interest, late fees, penalties charged by supplier from recipient will be included in the value of supply. But in this context, one point I will tell you, that 10,000 interest, late fees, penalties, whatever I am taking from my client is generally assumed to be inclusive of GST. Generally assumed to be inclusive of GST. Why? Because you need to understand that first of all I am troubling my customer or my client, telling boss, not just 1 lakh, pay me 1 lakh 10,000. And I am taking 1 lakh 10,000. For extra 10,000 again I will tell GST, that person will die. The person will die. That is the reason why. We always tell that 10,000 is inclusive of GST. And when I tell inclusive of GST, what will be the rate of GST? The rate of GST is nothing but whatever rate we applied for the normal service, the same rate will apply. Whatever rate we applied for normal service, the same rate will apply even for that interest, late fees, penalty. And that is the reason why you need to understand that in time of supply chapter also, there is one separate provision of section 12.6, section 13.6. 12.6 in case of goods, 13.6 in case of services, where one point is very clearly given which talks about something called time of supply in case of interest, late fees, penalty, which says in case of interest, late fees, penalties, time of supply will be the date when addition in value is received. So the day when that interest, late fee, penalty is received, that day only will become time of supply. So on that point, you need to have a clarity of thoughts. Very interesting, very exciting. I'm sure this point makes sense to everybody. Good, fantastic. Come on. So what have we done now? Almost 15.2 is coming to an end. What is 15.2a? All taxes, duties, cess, fees charged by supplier from recipient. What is 15.2b? Supplier's obligation in relation to supply met by recipient. 15.2c, all incidental expenses or anything charged by supplier from recipient. 15.2d talks about any interest, late fees, penalties charged by supplier from recipient. Next, 15.2e guys, that's the last point, which talks about an interesting point. Generally we keep seeing in the exam in the question. 15.2e talks about any subsidy linked to price. Any subsidy linked to price except subsidy from central government or state government. Now what does this point mean? I will give an example. So let's say I am a laptop dealer. Let's say for a second, I am what dealer, my dear friends? I am laptop dealer. I am selling my laptop for 1 lakh rupees. What value I am selling? 1 lakh rupees. Now let's say one charitable trust is coming to me and they are telling, sir, we will be happy if you can sell laptop at 80,000. 80,000. And I bluntly told him, how can I sell at 80,000 boss? I will not give 1 rupee discount also. I will not give 1 rupee discount also. I will charge you 1 lakh rupees only. Now what this charitable trust has done is, they went to Modi and discussed with Modi, telling that please give some subsidy to Shiva Teja, or please do 20,000 to Shiva Teja, so that he will give to us laptop only at 80,000. Now what I have done is, I gave the laptop only at 80,000. I gave the laptop only at 80,000 to my customer, that is charitable trust, and 20,000 came from central government. Now on what value should I pay GST? I will pay GST only on 80,000, because they told very clearly that subsidy is linked to price. Except subsidy from central government or state government. So if subsidy is coming from central government or state government, we will not include that value of supply. I repeat one more time, if subsidy is coming from central government or state government, we will not include that in the value of supply. But if subsidy is coming from other than central government or state government, we will include in the value of supply. Sometimes in exam, the question what they do is price after subsidy. That means what? The price given is after reducing the subsidy. Then if the subsidy is coming from other than central government, you add that figure, you include that. But if subsidy is coming from central government or state government, it is not included, because 15(2)(e) clearly says any subsidy linked to price except subsidy from central government or state government. That means subsidy from central government or state government should not be included in the value of supply. That's the story of 15(2), which talks about inclusions. So before I go to 15(3) exclusions, I'll clarify our students' questions, then I'll proceed. One of our students is asking a question, sir, client will pay for 1 lakh, you will pay GST for 1,10,000. Is it correct? That's a question from Nandi. Good. So let me tell you, in that I think you are talking about example of interest late fees penalty. It is something like interest late fees penalty. I actually gave a bill already for 1 lakh plus GST. Already I gave bill, but that client did not make payment to me in 30 days. So what I will do, I will collect extra 10,000 of interest late fees penalty. On that 10,000 also, I will pay GST, treating it as inclusive of GST. Reverse working I will do. How? That 10,000, assume the rate is 18%. I will do 10,000 into 18 by 118 and pay to the government. That's it. Good. Next. One question. Sir, whether incidental charges charged by supplier after delivery of goods or supplier service is included? No, my dear friend. That question is from Magesh. It's not included. Always the incidental charges, anything 15(2)(c) clearly says any incidental expenses or anything charged by supplier from recipient, which is prior or at the time of delivery or at the time of supply, that only will include. Whatever is charged collected after, we will not include that, because we can't trace it also practically. Clear? Next. One of our friend is asking, sir, if you have taken input tax credit on the laptop, will you be able to claim if subsidy is given by central government or state government? See, one point let me tell you. If I am a laptop dealer, if I am buying laptops and selling laptops, for buying laptop, I did not get subsidy. When I am selling laptop only, subsidy has come. So when I am buying laptop, why can't I take input tax credit? Because under GST law, input tax credit can be taken on any goods or services which are used in the course of furtherance of business. Only thing what I can't take input tax credit is only on the blocked credits given by section 17(5). Except for that, on everything I'll take input tax credit. Next. One question from our friend next. One question from Sandhya. How to know whether value given in the question is after subsidy or before subsidy? Good. Sometimes, generally what we always say is, we always assume that price given in the question is after reducing subsidy. That is what generally we assume. But sometimes in the question what they do is price exclusive. I repeat the word one more time. Generally what we do is, I repeat one more time my dear friend, please listen carefully. Generally what we do always is, we always assume that price is after reducing subsidy. That means the value given in the question is after reducing subsidy is only what we assume. But sometimes they use the word price exclusive of subsidy. Price exclusive of subsidy. When they say price exclusive of subsidy, that means what does that mean? The subsidy is so far not reduced. Subsidy is so far not reduced. If that subsidy is from central government, state government, then reduce that. If it is not from central government, state government, don't reduce that, because that is anyways included in the value of supply. Because 15(2)(e) clearly says any subsidy linked to price except subsidy from central government or state government. That's it. That's the end of story for 15(2). So friends, we are almost done with value of supply. 15(1) is what? 15(1) says value of supply should always mean transaction value, which refers to price paid or payable when supplier and recipient are not related and the price is sole consideration. What is 15(2) talks about? Inclusions. How many points we had? 5 points we had. What is the first one? All taxes, duties, cess, fee charged by supplier from recipient. 15(2)(b) supplier's obligation in relation to supply met by recipient. 15(2)(c) any incidental expenses or anything charged by supplier from recipient. 15(2)(d) interest, late fees, penalties charged by supplier from recipient. 15(2)(e) any subsidies linked to price except subsidy from central government or state government. That's it. 15(4) already I told, if transaction value is not acceptable, we'll go to rules. 15(5) for notified suppliers also will always go to rules. But rules is not relevant for CA inter or CA IPC level. So friends, finally moving forward, the last discussion and very small discussion, 15(3) exclusions from transaction value. In exclusions, we have got only 2 points to talk. 15(3)(a), 15(3)(b). 15(3)(a) is very simple. Very simple common sense point. 15(3)(a) says discount recorded in the invoice. Now what is discount recorded in the invoice? For example guys, let's say we go to a shop and buy one shirt, and let's say the shirt price is 1000 rupees and they offered some 20% discount. For 1000 rupees shirt, when they offer 20% discount, what is the net price they will charge from us? The net price they will charge from us is only 800 rupees. Now on what value GST will apply? GST will apply straight away on 800 rupees, because 15(3)(a) says discount recorded in the invoice is reduced from value of supply. So 15(3) exclusions, we have got just 2 points. What is the first point? Very simple. Discount recorded in the invoice. Second point is a crazy point. On this point, clarity of thought is required. And this is the point which I'll take some 2-3 minutes time, because it's very important. Come on. What's 15(3)(b)? Before I go to 15(3)(b), 15(3)(a), to clarify, they only told the word discount recorded in the invoice. And the discount could be any type of discount. Cash discount, trade discount, quantity discount, turnover discount, whatever discount it is. Under GST law, it does not make a difference telling trade discount, this treatment, cash discount, that treatment. There's nothing like that. This is not accounting. Accounting could be an art, but GST is very smart. Come on. So, what is the story now? It could be any type of discount. So, 15(3)(a) says discount recorded in the invoice. Notice 15(3)(b). 15(3)(b) says discount given. Come on, what is the language? 15(3)(b) says discount given after supply is made. So, generally, when will the discount be given? Discount will be given either before supply or discount will be given at the time of supply. Why would there be a case where discount is given after supply, friends? But still there is a point which talks about 15(3)(b), which talks about discount given after supply is made, which says discount given after supply is made. For example, let's say for a second, I supplied some chocolates to you. You are a chocolate dealer, I am a chocolate dealer. You are a chocolate dealer, I am a chocolate dealer. I am a big chocolate dealer, wholesaler, you are a retailer. I supplied chocolate to you at a price of 10 rupees per chocolate. But later on, subsequently, after 1-2 months, since the chocolates were not being sold, I gave a discount of 1 rupee. Telling, boss, your chocolate price is not 10 rupees now, chocolate landing price for you will become 9 rupees. Now, how will I give that discount to you? Practically, there is a document called credit notes. That's a document given by supplier to the recipient for reducing the value of supply. Under GST law, for increasing value of supply, we will give debit note. For reducing value of supply, we will give credit notes. So, when I gave you chocolate originally, for what value I gave? 10 rupees I gave. Later on, what discount I gave? 1 rupee discount I gave. So, your landing price became how much? 9 rupees. Correct? Now, the point is, originally I charged GST from you on what price? On 10 rupees, I corrected GST from you. And that GST I paid to the government, And you also enjoyed input tax credit. Yes or no? Yes. Because on 10 rupees I collected GST from you. That GST I paid to the government, and that GST you enjoyed input tax credits. Now the point here to understand is that 15.3b talks about discount is given after supply is made based on agreement existing at the time of supply. Based on what? Agreement existing at the time of supply, and proportionate credit is reversed by recipient. So friends, there are some 3-4 conditions in order to reduce that discount. Condition number one, discount is given after supply. Condition number 2, that discount is linked to an invoice. Condition number 3, there is an agreement already existing at the time of supply. There is agreement already existing at the time of supply. Condition number 4, proportionate credit is reversed by recipient. If these conditions are satisfied, that discount can be reduced from value of supply. If that conditions are not satisfied, then that discount cannot be reduced from value of supply. Very logical and common sense point also, because my dear friend, all we have to understand that already I gave you invoice for what value? 10 rupees. On that 10 rupees I charge GST from you, and that GST I pay to the government, and that you enjoy input tax credit also. Tomorrow, when I am giving you credit note, I am giving discount of 1 rupee, then you, whatever credit you enjoy, you have to reverse it to, my dear friend. Of course, you will not reverse entire credit, you will reverse that credit to the extent relatable to that 1 rupee. Then my value of supply will not be 10 rupees, my value of supply will become 9 rupees. So friends, in 15.3 there are 2 points, 15.3a, 15.3b. 15.3a talks about discount recorded in the invoice. One student is asking what all discount will be included in the invoice. That could be any type of discount. Any discount recorded in the invoice or discount given in the invoice, that is reduced. 15.3b talks about discount given after supply is made. After supply is made, based on agreement existing at the time of supply, and it is linked to the invoice, and proportionate credit is reversed by the recipient. In case where agreement is not existing at the time of supply, then that discount cannot be reduced, my dear friends. Keep this point in mind. Very, very important. This is the story of 15.3, exclusions from transaction value. So 15.1 was talking about what is value of supply, that is transaction value. 15.2 was talking about inclusions to transaction value. 15.3 was talking about exclusions from transaction value. 15.4 was talking about if transaction value is not acceptable, go to rules. 15.5, in notified supplies also go to rules. And the rules is not relevant for CA Inter or CA IPCC. What is relevant is only section 15, that is 15 of CGST Act 15.1 to 3. That is the most important thing from you, and definitely a question will come in exam. So far in all the past exam papers, every time a question has come from value of supply for either 4 marks or 5 marks or 6 marks. So definitely question will come. So be prepared for that and do really well, my dear friends. One question from our friend before I complete the session. How there will be an agreement before supply? Yeah, I'll tell you how there will be agreements. Let me tell you, my dear friend Nagesh, the practical situation here is that how agreement will be there before supply. I'll tell you. The point is that when I'm giving you chocolates at 10 rupees, at the time of sending chocolates only, I will write an agreement telling that if the chocolates are not sold within 30 days, I will give you 1 rupee discount. Like that agreement is already there, which specifies the time limit and what is the discount I will give. Only then that discount can be reduced. So 15.3b condition should be satisfied. Only then that discount can be reduced. I hope you got a clarity. So agreement should be there. Agreement should specify the amount of discount or the quantum of discount or the condition for discount. Clear? Yeah. So friends, that's the story about value of supply, and I'm sure you guys have got some good clarity on value of supply. I'll come back with more topics. Some students are asking separate sessions for ITC, time of supply and all. We'll come back with more topics. Definitely more videos will come back for sure. So do subscribe to Indigo Learn and keep watching our videos, and stay tuned, stay home, stay safe and take care. Have a good time and take care. Do study well. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye bye. Thank you.